Alright folks, welcome to another beer review, another revisit really, and I've not had this beer since the first time that I actually had it, and it's gone down in price. So I thought, I really enjoyed it the first time round, so let's see if it still holds up, especially with what seems to be the king of the supermarket Imperial Stouts, being Vocation's Imperial Barrel Aged Banana. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a review of this. Next time I'm in Tesco's, I'll pick up one of each and do a little bit of a face-off. Might do a live stream on it, we shall see. Anyway, so we're going over to BrewDog, and this is their collaboration with Evil Twin. And this is a can of the Roaster Coaster Nitro Imperial Vietnamese Coffee Stout. I believe... is this the American brewed version? I can't remember. Details, well, I never give details. I mean, it's in a 402 milliliter can. 8%, no, 9% ABV. So a nice bit of nitro. So, of course, let's get the can rolling, so we can do a nice hard pour. Not gonna lie though, this is pretty much straight out the fridge, so we'll see what it's like. Anyway, let's get that can open and give it as hard of a pour as we possibly can without it spilling everywhere. I think we could do it a little bit harder. There we go, all seems to fit in the can very nicely, and as you would expect, a really nice cascading effect. You're not really seeing it too much in this lighting because it is a little bit darker than, let's say, what you used to be with a Guinness, or what you'd be used to with a Guinness or something like that. But yeah, very nice indeed, looking nice and creamy. So I remember when I first had that, just letting it settle for a little bit. I actually remember really enjoying this when I first had it. And it's one of those things, I know BrewDog gets a lot of flack. I'm talking about their beer, not other things, which seems to be a massive talking point. And it should be, really, you know, when there are problems in the industry, you know, those involved and those who aren't should, you know, talk about it. Obviously, there's some people going in it with, I don't know, it's a really slippery slope to talk about this without just blindly going along with a lot of the things that are being said. But when it comes to their beer, I still think that they're absolutely amazing when it comes to their darker, stronger beers. When I was in Liverpool a few weeks ago, we had, what was it? Was it Dog H or something like that? And that was just absolutely remarkable. I can't remember what I actually drank in BrewDog that night because I had to go home because all of a sudden I was just dead to the world. And with this whole thing of people getting spiked with needles in nightclubs. I mean, I was with Adam and Harry, and, you know, those two are, well, as am I, reprobates and deviants. Anyway, so beer in the glass then, that's settled nicely. 2 fingers worth of a nice tan head, pretty much jet black in the glass, looking very nice indeed. So let's see what we get on the nose. Ooh. Coffee is definitely there. It's like a slightly sweetened coffee, as opposed to like fresh coffee beans or freshly roasted coffee beans. There's a touch of vanilla in there. There's nice sort of like fruity notes coming from the malts, but bready. Well, not bready. It's more cakey as opposed to bready. Cakey, biscuity, but with a nice roastiness there coming through. Smelling really damn nice. So let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, folks. Man. I know people will be like, oh, you shouldn't have really chilled it down, blah, 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 but I find with beers like this, when they are a little bit cooler, or just flat out chilled down, straight out the fridge, what's already a lovely velvety body is just like magnified. And it, to me, it's got like the consistency of like a McDonald's milkshake. ABV masked beautifully, and that's just from the body of the beer. As well as just beers nowadays just being where you almost, if you taste it blind, you'd be unsure what the ABV is. There's no warmth at all, no booziness. I mean, I know it's only 9%, but still, you know, you can sometimes get some really harsh alcoholic sort of aroma flavours from even beers that are a lesser ABV. Loads of bitter chocolate. Can't remember what the brand is, but it reminds me of a very specific hot chocolate powder that I just randomly picked up because I thought it was coffee from like an Eastern European shop. It was like right next to the coffee that I wanted, and you know that way sort of like you're looking at other stuff and you think you're grabbing the right thing. And that's like a very nice sort of like bitter chocolate, hot chocolate. That's what it's reminding me of. It's just going down so easily. Chocolate milk really, really is. That nitro is used beautifully in this. Sometimes you have a nitro stout and it's like, it's all right. But this, it's just going down ridiculously well. And it's going to accompany my, well, I'll have drank it before we even started cooking. And I've got no beer. I'm off tomorrow, so I might get myself a cheeky 4-pack of something a bit later on. Is that all right with you, lads? Fresh start on Monday, though. There's a little bit of sweetness there. It's got like a toffee fudge element to it, but not overbearingly sweet. There's a really nice bitterness from that coffee coming through. And you taste the sort of like slightly earthy, fruity notes of some certain, you know, coffee beans. I'm not too sure. As much as I love coffee, I'm not too read up on it. All I know, if his coffee tastes nice, it tastes nice. But I wouldn't really be able to tell you what you are to expect specifically in a sort of stereotypical way with a Vietnamese coffee. But this is just absolutely bang on. Obviously a completely different monster to what's also on the same shelf in Tesco's. It's been very Tesco-centric this past week or so. Obviously it's a lot different compared to the Vocation Imperial Stout, which I think will make for an interesting sort of like comparison, not like competing against each other, because they're not the same style of, you know, Imperial Stout. One's got, you know, barrel aged and it's got bananas in it, and this one is nitro with coffee added. And the coffee beer balance is absolutely spot on. And the fact that this is only £3.50 a can. With Christmas coming up, I'm not making that same mistake of making loads of sort of beer hauls and buying mini kegs like I did last year. I'm happy to just, and this is the beauty, I know it's still a point of contention, it's still a widely discussed topic of supermarket beers and how they affect the industry, and are you getting good quality for that slightly cheaper price? But you know what? Just stocking up on beers like this, it's just perfect. It makes perfect sense, and that's where supermarkets like Tesco's, Morrison's, Sainsbury's, Asda are starting to get a little bit better, depending on which part of the country you're in. Obviously, Lidl and Aldi have established themselves with beer festivals and that sort of stuff, and you've got the likes of Waitrose, Booths, if you're up in the north. So, you've got a lot of really high quality and relatively inexpensive beers at your disposal. And whether you want to just completely focus all your drinking on those beers, or you just want to get a nice cheap haul that's going to be satisfactory, or whatever, you've got such a good range nowadays. And of course, I'll still support breweries direct. I'll still buy from independent bottle shops online, or in when I'm out and about. I'll still support bars that have a nicely stocked fridge. I'll still support direct, but I take comfort in knowing that I can get pretty damn good beer that is at the level sometimes of what you'd be able to get at a bottle shop or like a seasonal rotational release from a brewery. But of course, there are examples where you can clearly tell that this beer that you're drinking, it's brewed to cost. The brewery beforehand, when they've negotiated the contract with whatever supermarket. I'm just theorising here. I don't think really, unless you're in the industry, you don't really know these agreements. I know that claim comes out a lot, like a lot of these breweries are just brewing purely to cost, to the point where some people will say, that beer you're getting from the supermarket that is being sold directly from the brewery is going to be completely different. I could totally see that. But I tell you what, I thought the range was a bit overwhelming when I was starting to get into this sort of stuff. Don't get me wrong, it's nowhere near as diverse then as it is now. But for someone who's getting a bit bored of just drinking the same old, wants to get something new, wants to just every time they go shopping, add a couple of beers into the shopping trolley. I was going to say shopping cart then, but I'm not going to use an Americanized version of a British word. Sounds like a very anti-American, which I'm not. Definitely not anti-American. But you know what I mean? It's just great where you can try. This is what I used to do. And I still do it now when I'm in supermarkets. I don't actively, when I see new beers released, think, Joe, what? I'm going to go to this supermarket. But if I'm in the local vicinity of a supermarket that I know stocks or has a good selection, I'll pop in, I'll pick up the stuff that I want, and then I'll go to the beer aisle. If there are some favourites there, I'll pick up a couple of cans or a cheeky 4-pack there. Faith, 4-pack of Faith for £8. How could you go wrong? One of the best core range pale ales in the country. And the fact that it's available to a lot of people on their doorstep at their local supermarket is just a wonderful thing. There's no compromise on that beer. And it's just good to get some old familiars that you've enjoyed, and then also making the most of those like 4 for £7, 3 for £5, whatever the deal is. I'd always pick up maybe 1 or 2 of the ones that I enjoyed on my previous visit, and then try 1 or 2 new beers. And then, next thing you know, you're spending stupid amounts of money on a website like Trembling Madness. Do you know what I mean? It's amazing, isn't it, really? But, I don't have to seek out the new hype beers all the time. Because it's coming up to Christmas. You've got bigger things to worry about. Halloween, bonfire night, Christmas. So these outlets are perfect. And the fact that I can get a nice coffee imperial stout for £3.50, that tastes a fair bit better than some of the ones that I've been drinking. Because if you know me, you know that I love my coffee beers. And this for me, not just because it's £3.50, but just in general, this is a damn fine Imperial Stout, brewed with coffee, nitro's used perfectly, and it's just going down ridiculously well, even though it is chilled down. So yeah, that's Clueless Drinker at Speaker's Corner. Clueless's final thoughts. If you want to see what I thought of this initially, don't know why you would, then go check out the original review down below. And yeah, we'll definitely be, next time I'm in Tesco's, pick up a can of this, pick up a can of Vocation. I'll just do a little bit of a live stream, not necessarily comparing the two beers. I mean, you obviously going to, which one would you prefer to buy again? But at this point, I'd happily buy both beers again, because I think both beers have been fantastic. And yeah. So if you've tried this, then let me know your thoughts, opinions down below. What's your favourite BrewDog beer? What's your favourite Evil Twin beer? Hit me up in the comments. And yeah, any recommendations, suggestions, always appreciated. Links to both breweries will be included in the description as always. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all again. Class dismissed.